So, first of all, I wanted to say if you were in the military, if you could send me if you could just put in the chat what a service you were in, I would love to see that. Like I said, my dad was in the Marine Corps, and so I feel like I've supported all of them. And for a little while, I worked at Department of Navy in BRAC in base realignment and closure, which was interesting. So I'd love to hear that. So we first started out, and I started realizing my nutrition was way off. We would go to the commissary, and I would get boxes of Cheerios and goldfish and all the stuff that was packaged because that's all I knew how to cook. And once I started realizing that nutrition was so important, I still do a farmer share, drive up to Castle Rock from Colorado Springs every week to get that in the summer for 20 weeks. Started doing my own bone broth. We started doing fermented foods. And people started coming to me and asking me, how do you do this? And so I started teaching classes. I was already an educator for my kids at that point and teaching classes for them where they were, and I started teaching adult classes. So, what is homeopathy? A lot of people are unsure of what homeopathy is. So, I'm going to explain it. And then, if you have used homeopathy, I want you to put in the chat what your comfort level is from a 1 to a 3, with 3 being most comfortable, and what you've used in the past. So, I'm just going to show you. You can see this little blue bottle right here or on the screen. This is an example of what homeopathy is. You can usually find it in Sprouts, King Soopers, Amazon, those kinds of places. And it's usually 2 Latin words and a number and a letter. So that's how you usually can tell because you know what potency it is. So we'll talk about that. And then there's also combination remedies. For example, I have this one just to show you. There's like sleep calm, cold calm, allergy calm. And this on the back of it, it's going to have, those 2 Latin words and then the number and the letter. So that's how you're going to be able to tell with that. So they've combined them together to kind of help you figure it out. So it makes it a little easier. So homeopathy means homeos means similar and pathos means suffering. So if you've used homeopathy, please let me know in the chat. I would love to see that. And then just kind of what your comfort level is. So it's based on the principle that substances that cause symptoms in healthy people can be used in extreme dilution to treat illnesses that cause the same symptoms. So it uses the principle of like cures like, and it stimulates the body just naturally and gently to get a healthy healing response. So the example I use that's really easy to understand, and I think maybe somebody's not muted, is coffee beans. So with coffee beans, what would that cause normally if you're just going to drink coffee? What kind of reaction are you going to get? If you can put that in the chat, I would love to see that. Oh, thank you. And somebody was in the army in Germany. Okay, we might have crossed paths at one point. I love Germany. Okay. So Steve says he's used some. Okay. So with coffee, we're going to get that stimulant. So it's going to make us wired. It's going to make us feel energetic. Well, that same thing, so like cures like, is if we were to use coffea cruda, which is made out of the coffee bean, and what they do is we'll talk about this a little more, is you can take the raw substance and they turn it into a tincture, which tinctures you can make on your own, but then they make the dilutions in a lab under very strict guidelines. So basically, coffea cruda would help you with sleep issues. So instead of your mind racing and being stimulated, and this is how you would know you needed coffea cruda, you would, instead of drink what coffee would do, this would actually calm down your mind and help you sleep. So this is an example I use. There's the same with allium cepa. If we have anybody that's a gardener, the allium family. So allium cepa, if you were to cut red onion, what would happen to your eyes and nose usually? You're usually going to be streaming, painful. So allium cepa in homeopathic potency would help if you have allergies or you have a certain cold that's your eyes are streaming and your nose is running. So it's just getting around that understanding of that. Okay.